Hello, I all welcome you back to my perhaps my last and 10th lecture on Tintin in Tibet. And in this particular lecture, I will discuss about the various themes of friendship, companionship, themes of spirituality, and of course symbols like the color white, and also about various issues and probable questions and answers in Tintin. So now let us begin. As I've already said that a very important symbol that runs across the entire story of Tintin in Tibet is the symbol of friendship, and it is probably the most personal of Tintin books, this particular text Tintin in Tibet, because just as Harje was in crisis, so is Tintin. We can clearly find that there is a parallel between Tintin stories and Harje's story. And normally, Tintin is a product of the European rationality, is a product of the European Enlightenment epistemology. But remember that Tintin is a great prodigy of the great European detectives like Sherlock Holmes, Hercule Poirot, and others. Those who tremendously relies on logic and reason. And Tintin normally actually ruled by reason and the logic. But here, for the first time, you can see that Tintin in Tibet is a different Tintin. He is ruled here by emotion. In spite of the tremendous logical reasonings gave by the Grand Abbot or by Captain Haddock and others, Tintin never listened to them. Because he here is actually thinking about his own friend Chang, and friendship cannot be ruled by logic. Friendship is always dominated by emotion, not by reason and logic. So when he learns of the Chang's plane crash, he has no reason to think he is alive. But haunted by the dream of him calling for help from the snow, Tintin immediately sets off to rescue him. So Tintin here realizes his fragmented dream. Tintin, as a product of the European rationality, can of course reject this dream, but he never rejects it. He relies on this emotion and he immediately sets off from the French Alps to the Tibet in order to rescue this young Chinese boy. And Tintin in Tibet is of course hence is a story of pure friendship without any of the usual villains. As I was constantly telling you, that it's a tale of Tintin's desperate search to find his own friend. The unusual narrative, which is much more introverted than those of the other books in the Tintin series, it is much more an introverted narrative, introspective narrative. It's a journey, it's a story of the inward journey, Tintiনের ভেতরের journey. এই বিরাট বড় হোয়াইট এক্সপ্যান্স, হিমালয়ের বিরাট বড় হোয়াইট এক্সপ্যান্সের মধ্যে দিয়ে টিনটিন হেঁটে চলেছে এবং নিজের বন্ধুকে খুঁজে চলেছে। সত্যি কি বন্ধুকে খুঁজে চলেছে নাকি নিজেকে খুঁজছে? এই যে সার্চ ফর oneself, search for the friend, and hence it becomes a story with an unusual narrative, Tintin narrative. It tells the story that faith and hope are able to conquer all the odds and obstacles, and that preconceived judgments of others, in case of regard to the Yeti, are purely the fruits of ignorance. যেরকম প্রথম থেকে আমরা দেখে আসছি ইয়েতি সম্পর্কে বিভিন্ন ধরনের ভুল ধারণা। Yeti is a fearful animal, an abominable snowman to these people. But actually, Yeti appears to be a very friendly creature to these people, especially to Chang. And Chang himself said that Yeti actually saved him from this great disaster, otherwise he would have died of hunger and in the cold. So we can see that Tintin in Tibet is a graphic novel with a different perspective. Tintin in Tibet is a graphic narrative with completely a different kind of storyline. So one manner of several in which Tintin in Tibet is unique among the canon is of course the predominance of the Fortean content. What is Fortean content? Fortean content means supernatural themes, spiritual themes, necromantic themes. Black magic এর পর্যায়ে এটা লজিক্যাল রিজনের থ্রু দিয়ে আমরা বলতে পারি না, that is Fortean, Fortean. And as befits the serene undertone of the narrative. Of course, the entire narrative is located in Tibet, and hence it befits the serenity of the entire locale. It's all presented in credible and sympathetic fashion. So Tintin in Tibet becomes a unique narrative because of its predominance of the Fortean narrative, and because of the Fortean and supernatural instincts, supernatural features. It befits the serene undertone of the narrative, as well as the great location of the Tibet. The core theme, of course, is friendship, as we all know, and Tintin's quest for Chang prods the plot, but his friendship with Haddock is equally important. Haddock can leave Tintin at any point of the text. যে কোনো সময় ছেড়ে চলে যেতে পারতো, কিন্তু যায়নি, কনস্ট্যান্টলি টিনটিনকে ফলো করে গেছে, টিনটিনের সঙ্গে থেকেছে। এই যে সঙ্গে থাকা, এই যে the growing camaraderie can be is a very major motive in Tintin's text. There is no villain here, and other than the perpetual companions, Captain Haddock is the only member of the regular ensemble of cast to have anything other than a cameo role. So his skepticism contrasts Tintin's pure faith. So here Captain Haddock is not that of a person with a cameo role. Cameo means a short role. So his skepticism is very much skeptic about finding Chang. He is perhaps a product of the European rationality here, and his skepticism contrasts constantly with Tintin's faith. The polarizing aspects of Hergé's own psyche playing out across the pages, yet his support is unfailing, irrespective of how he views Tintin's beliefs. Yet Captain Haddock unfailingly supports Tintin throughout the entire narrative. So remember, the very important theme in this particular story is the story of the friendship. Tintin in Tibet হচ্ছে বন্ধুত্বের গল্প, কম্প্যানিয়নশিপের গল্প, একে অপরের পাশে থাকার গল্প। ফলে this is in this way Tintin in Tibet is different from all other Tintin narratives. In fact, the theme of friendship is a very important 10 marks question for you. Moving into other symbols of Tintin in Tibet. Another very important theme in Tintin in Tibet is the color white, coupled with a feeling of isolation, because white not only creates a serene atmosphere, but also it actually also creates an atmosphere of solitude and isolation. White and loneliness or vulnerability paired together is a very potent visual combination operating throughout the entire text. So white can be compared with loneliness, can be compared with vulnerability, can be compared with the human solitude, and you can see that the vast expanses of the Himalayas is expanding from one end of the page, one corner of the page, down to the another, and paired together it creates a very potent visual combination which is operating throughout the entire text. Remember, Tintin in Tibet is also a tale of spirituality, where they met people like Great Lightning. They rely strongly on spirituality. Hence, this white color also combines with the spiritual color. Tintin in Tibet is probably the most personal of all the Tintin books, as I've already said. Just as Hergé was in crisis, so is Tintin, normally ruled by the reason, as I've already said. Tintin here in Tibet is ruled by emotion, unlike the other detective protagonists of the other stories of 18th century and 19th century. So every other adventure up to this point had always revolved around external problems. Remember, the adventures of Tintin had never been an introspective series before. For the first time, Adventures of Tintin transformed itself into an introspective narrative. And this time, there wasn't a villain for Tintin to track down. Instead, Tintin was in search of a friend that in all probability was already dead. Here there is no such antagonist in Tintin. In fact, a mountain, which is a part of the nature, which actually appears to be a major motif in the man and nature conflict, is not appears as an antagonist here. In fact, Yeti, the terrible animal, the formidable animal, is not an antagonist here. So Tintin in Tibet is the beginning of what I like to call the deconstruction of Tintin. What is deconstruction? Deconstruction, you will later learn in the 6th semester that it is basically a word created by the French philosopher Jacques Derrida, which means the demolition, the rereading of a particular text, the close reading of a particular text, extreme close reading, and through this close reading, the reader tries to dismantle the binaries of the text. According to Derrida, the Western philosophy, through its metaphysics of presence, always creates a kind of binary inside the text between good and evil, between bad and good, between light and darkness. For example, in the Soviet, in the Soviet Union, we have already seen that it's of course a pro-fascist and anti-communist narrative. But Tintin is always creating this kind of binary. For example, in Congo in Tintin, you can see the Tintin creating a constant binary with the colored people. Snowy is saying that, oh my God, he seems not a very fair man because of the skin color of that particular black Congo man. So this kind of binary that has always been created by Tintin in the other narratives of Tintin has been deconstructed by Hergé here in this narrative. ভেঙে বেরিয়ে এসে এই লাইট এন্ড ডার্কনেস, ভালো খারাপ, এই দ্বন্দ্ব থেকে বেরিয়ে এসে একটা অন্য ধরনের টিন্টেড ন্যারেটিভ ক্রিয়েট করার চেষ্টা করছেন Hergé, বিকজ Hergé is in tremendous personal crisis. এবং মানুষের সত্যিকারের দুঃখ থেকে, অনেকে বলেন না যে সত্যিকারের দুঃখ না হলে একজন বড় সাহিত্যিক হওয়া যায় না। তো সত্যিকারের আপনি কতটা জীবনে সত্যিকারের দুঃখ দেখেছেন? অরণ্যের দিনরাত্রিতে প্রশ্ন করছে শর্মিলা ঠাকুরকে, শর্মিলা ঠাকুর প্রশ্ন করছেন সৌমিত্রকে যে আমি মনে হয় খুব বড় ধরনের দুঃখ জীবনে দেখেননি না। সরো, দুঃখ একটা ন্যারেটিভকে completely change করে, can completely change a narrative in its lock, stock and barrel. So Tintin in Tibet is the beginning of Hergé exploring those boundaries and seeing how he could redefine them. This is an aspect more or less present in all the Tintin adventures following Tintin in Tibet. So Tintin in Tibet is the beginning of the deconstruction of the other conventional Tintin narratives. Now let us quote some critics. I will in the section called Critical Analysis of Tintin, I will quote some certain critics of Tintin, what they say about this particular narrative of Tintin. Tintin in Tibet is well received by critics from comics and literary fields. Michael Fur calls it exceptional in many respects, standing out among the 23 completed Tintin adventures. So as I've already said, the Tintin adventure is actually a series of 24 comic albums. So among these 24 comic albums, Tintin in Tibet is different from other 23 completed Tintin adventures. It's an assertion of the incorruptible value of the bonds of friendship. Remember the phrase, the beautiful phrase, an assertion of the incorruptible value of friendship, value of bonds of friendship. It's an assertion, এক ধরনের একটা almost a propagation, জোরে বলা যে হ্যাঁ, the story is about friendship, এটা বন্ধুত্ব নিয়ে। Jean-Marc Lossifer and Randy Lofficer, Jean-Marc Lofficer and Randy Lofficer allowed it as the ultimate Tintin book, reaching a degree of perfection both in its story and in its stunning art that has rarely been equaled before or ever since. Not only because of its art but also because of its story, and arguably the best book of the series. Many says that this is the best Tintin book ever created. They detail the story's many emotional moments, Haddock's willingness to sacrifice his life for Tintin's Tharke's return, the tearful reunion of Tintin and his starving friend Chang. So these are the great, I would say, twists and the turns of this particular graphic narrative. The reverence paid to Tintin by the Grand Abbot and the monks, the Yeti's sadness while watching the departure of his only friend. So this is very important that the story actually presents us with this sort of incidents that actually encourages our reliance on friendship, about bonding. The story details emotional moments like Haddock's willingness to sacrifice his life for Tintin, as we see in the cliff, that Haddock is ready to sacrifice his life. Then Tharke returned and rescued both Captain and Tintin. Of course, the tearful reunion of Tintin with his starving friend Chang. For the first time when Tintin discovered Chang in the cave of the Yeti, and the reverence paid to Tintin by the Grand Abbot and the monks. They said that you are an European, you are a man with a different skin color, but yet you arrive in Nepal and discover and rescue this friend of yours. So for a comic book to handle such powerful emotions, convey them to the readers and make them feel what the characters are feeling is a rare and precious achievement. So for a comic book to handle all these themes, all these powerful human emotions is very difficult, because comic books are generally, people generally treat comics as almost a very lightweight narrative in order to handle, but this particular Tintin narrative becomes a very rather loaded graphic narrative with various layers of meanings. This is Perry Assoline. He is a great critic. Please do read his famous book called Tintin and the Secrets of Tintin, or something like that. I forgot the name of the book. I can show you the book. It's a really a brilliant narrative. I must show you. This is the, wait a minute, third semester, Tintin. No, this is Tom McCarthy's book. Sorry, I have actually confounded this with Assaudin's. This is the famous book. It's really a great book. You should read this. Tom McCarthy's Tintin and the Secret of Literature. It's really a brilliant book. You can also have Tintin the Complete Companion. I will later supply these PDFs in the WhatsApp group. Tintin the Complete Companion by Michael Kors. It's a great book. It's a book of almost 200 pages, and it contains almost all the graphic details of Tintin, the source of inspiration of these graphics. Okay, it's a very well accumulated book, well structured and well collected. Remember, this is from the Tintin Black Island probably. Okay, yes. So moving into the themes of the text, moving to the PowerPoint. So the literary analysis of Tom McCarthy compares Tintin's quest to Hergé's quest for his own fear and guilt. As I've already informed you, that Hergé at the same time is also having an affair with a woman who is 28 years younger than him, and he is trying to separate himself from his wife. So this entire process can be compared with one another. This is also actually Hergé's conquest of his own fear and guilt. Writing, this is the moria of Hergé's own white mythology. His anemic destiny to become Sarrazin to Tintin's La Zambinella. Sarrazin is a short story written by Balzac. I will later tell you about the significance of Sarrazin. Later, S by Z of Roland Barthes wrote also a famous text called S by Z, on the basis of this Balzacian narrative. So the critic calling it to become Sarrazin to Tintin's La Zambinella, almost the author is actually relating himself with Tintin, and it almost actually becomes a point of castration for the author. Through this narrative, the author castrates himself. And McCarthy suggested the icy white expanse of Hergé's nightmares really have their analog in his own hero, especially as Tintin represents an unattainable goal of goodness, cleanness, and authenticity. So Tintin represents here almost like the white Himalayas, an unattainable goal of goodness, cleanness, and authenticity. But really does it? Tintin, as the Tintin of the other narratives, is he that good, clean, and authenticity? That's a question. Don't really know. So Hergé biographer Perry Assoudin opines that the work is a portrait of the artist at a turning point. You will later learn about this phrase, the portrait of an artist as a young man. It's a famous novel written by James Joyce. It's basically a consular roman. It's the story of an artist's Bildungsroman. It tells us the story of the growth of an artist. at a certain important historic point of time. So Asauluddin thinks that the work is basically a portrait of the artist at a turning point in his life, and he believes that it stands alone in the adventures of Tintin due to its lack of the antagonist and few characters, describing it as a spiritual quest where the only conflict is between the man and the nature. So Asauluddin describes this particular narrative as a spiritual quest where the only conflict দ্বন্দ্বটা হচ্ছে কার মধ্যে, প্রকৃতি এবং মানুষের মধ্যে। And put the best himself, and Harjay put his best himself into Tintin in Tibet. Referring to its script-based story and archetypal clarity, Benoy Peters believes Tintin in Tibet to be one of the two pivotal books in the series. It's really one of the two pivotal books in the series alongside the Blue Lotus, and deems it poignant that Chang features in both. Chang, in the Blue Lotus is the story of the political insurgencies of a particular time. It tells us the story of the Japan's invasion of the Manchuria. He also suggests that Harjay included benevolent Yeti to make up for the interminable massacre of animals in the second Tintin adventure, Tintin in Congo. আমি বলছিলাম Tintin in Congo তে হাজার হাজার প্রাণীকে কাস্ত রাইনোসেরাসকে Tintin ডায়নামাইট দিয়ে উড়িয়ে দিয়েছে। তো সেই যে অ্যানিমালদের ক্রুয়েলটি এন্ড রেসিজম, সেটাকে হয়তো ঠিক করার জন্যই সে যে ক্রাইম কমিট করছেন হার্জে, সেটা থেকে বেরিয়ে আসার জন্যই হয়তো Tintin in Tibet is much more a mature text. And that the sadness of the Yeti experience and the story's end reflected Harjay's feelings about his separation from Jarmaine, or his wife. Many critics also compared the feelings of the Yeti with that of the Harjay's feelings with his wife. And Peters concluded, even more than Art Spiegelman's Mouse. Art Spiegelman's Mouse is a canonical text. It's a very serious graphic narrative which tells us about the story of the Holocaust. Holocaust means the killings and the massacre of the Jews after the Second World War. So Mouse is a narrative of that Holocaust. Peters concluded that even more than Art Spiegelman's Mouse, তার থেকেও বেশি Spiegelman's মনে হচ্ছে তার থেকে বেশি Tintin in Tibet is perhaps the most moving book in the history of the comics field. It is the emotionally the most moving book, সবথেকে বেশি যেটা মুভ করেছে ইমোশনালি ওনার মতে পিটারসের। Now I will discuss about certain symbols in Tintin in Tibet. The first is the symbol of the whiteness, white. So white is everywhere in Tintin. প্রত্যেকটা জায়গাতে সাদা জিনিস ছড়িয়ে রয়েছে, because I'm telling you that from page 24 down to page 63, almost 2/3, more than half of the graphic novel is full of white in the Himalayas. So Tintin in Tibet was first published in the Tintin magazine around 1959, and Harjay presented his proposed front cover for the upcoming book to Casterman. Casterman is the publisher of Tintin. So it was the previous rejected cover perhaps. The principle behind the concept was very simple. Tintin, Snowy, Captain Haddock, and Sheikh Patharke examining the Yeti's snowy footprints. And apart from the colorful characters and the red oval at the top of the cover, which contained the title of the story in black font, the whole composition was bathed in white. Absolutely white. But later on, accentuating the majesty and the purity of the surroundings. The proposal was so radical that it did not manage to get beyond the prototype stage. In Casterman's opinion, the illustration was too abstract for children and a risky bait commercial. It would be very risky, according to Casterman. Later they changed the design, and they introduced the skyscape and these Himalayas with some dark brown tone. So in Casterman's opinion, the illustration was too abstract for children and risky one commercially. So Harjay usually was very much stringent regarding this matter, but he agreed on this occasion to add some sky and mountains in the background. Moving on, this is a narrative where there is no place for secondary roles, because when trekking in the mountains, you only take the essentials and no extra baggage is allowed. এবং তুমি ওঠো পাহাড়ে, তুমি কি করো? কোনো এক্সট্রা ব্যাগেজ নাও না, খুব মিনিমালিস্টিক থাকবে। this Harje narrative is very minimalistic. In Tintin in Tibet, Harje shows his characters along the same principle. Tintin's extended family is reduced to its essentials. Who are they? Captain Haddock, Chang and Snowy. These four people. It will be difficult to imagine Bianca Castofiore or Joylan Ward, the insurance agent, scaling the unforgivable slopes of the Himalayas. So it's very difficult. Amra Bianca Castofiore imagine kori je Himalaya upor diye utche সম্ভব নয়. So naturally Haddock and Snowy ছাড়া কাউকে নেয়নি। And finally, the abominable snowman, the Yeti, has been transformed into the adorable snowman. Abominable means terrible, formidable. Bhayankar, adorable means that person whom we can love. The arrival of the Yeti in the adventures of Tintin is the first time that the question of the boundaries between man and the beast has been addressed by Harje. So for the first time, with the arrival of the Yeti in the adventures of Tintin, as I was telling you, this conflict between the man and the animal, a manush এবং animalদের মধ্যে যে constant রাগ, যে constant conflict চলছে, আগের Tintin টেক্সটগুলো জুড়ে সেটা এখানে রেজলিউশনে পৌঁছচ্ছে। The abominable snowman does not really suit his name in this story, as it becomes apparent that beneath the bundle of muscle and hair beats the heart of a very sensitive and lonely animal. As Chang informed us that this animal actually helped him a lot. With the weight of the Chang, this animal climbs across the rocks of the Himalayas. This animal actually supplies food to Chang. So without this animal, Chang would have died in hunger and in cold. But so beneath the bundle of this muscle and hair here beats the heart of a sensitive and lonely animal. একজন একাকী এবং সেনসিটিভ প্রাণীর হৃদয় আমরা এই পার্টিকুলার টেক্সটের মধ্যে দেখতে পাচ্ছি হয়তো। At the end of Tintin in Tibet, as the Yeti watches the caravan take his friend away from the mountains forever, you can feel his sadness. You can of course feel the loneliness, the sadness on the part of this Yeti. Then there is another very important and interesting character without whom this particular narrative is incomplete. Almost, he is Blessed Lightning, the person who visualizes Tintin and Captain Haddock and Snowy, without whom it is almost impossible to complete the story. He may not say much, but when he does, everyone listens. Blessed Lightning, a monk from Corbion, a Tibetan monastery hidden in the mountains, has visions when he levitates, and his extrasensory powers allow him to see things that are happening elsewhere. Far from the sight of the ordinary human beings, he becomes an unexpected ally for Tintin, helping him to cement the idea that Chang is still alive. Shri Guruna Chang beche, and without him, we'll never be able to find Tintin and Haddock, because যদি Snowy ওই যখন এখানে প্রথম এলো তখন যদি না অন্যান্য মংস আইডেন্টিফাই করতো Blessed Lightning এর কথা না শুনে যে that snow powdered dog is Snowy himself, আমরা বুঝেও পেতাম না যে কোনোদিন ক্যাপ্টেন হ্যাডক এবং টিনটিন তারা এই অ্যাভালাঞ্চে আটকে পড়েছে। As I have said already, I am repeating, there is no prototypical villains. He is only Snow and the protagonist, the hero. So one of the amazing things about Tintin in Tibet, that the heroes do not come across any villains as the adventure progresses. There is no one to blame for any of the mishaps they encounter. The journey to Tintin, to Tibet, is the reflection of an internal journey, as I was constantly reading Betoe's journey. It's an internal journey. The internal journey is true for everyone, not only for Tintin, it's also for Captain Haddock. You can see it's also an internal conflict. It's also an internal conflict in case of Snowy. Snowy caught between angels and the devils. Tintin's faithful friend Snowy may be a very good dog, but even he is not entirely blameless. Sometimes he has to choose between his duty and a good bone to grow on. এটা সত্যিকারের ভালো হাড় এবং তার ডিউটি দুটোর মধ্যে হয়তো সে হাড়টাকেই চুজ করবে। And it is at times like these that his guardian angel and its devil alter ego tussle with one another for attention. So most of the time, it does not take long for Snowy to snap out of his indecisiveness, usually in the right direction, but here he also wanders on the wrong direction. The dream sequence of the captain, a very important thing. Here you can see Giorgio de Chirico, another famous predecessor of surrealism. There is a great similarity with Hergé. Hergé was very much interested in abstract painting on the time. Perhaps he also thought about leaving Tintin, the adventures of Tintin, and creating abstract artists, and wanted to establish himself as an abstract artist. Throughout their careers as comic strip characters, Tintin and Captain Haddock dream and have nightmares. In this adventure of Tintin, Tintin has a premonitory dream, while Haddock experiences a troubling series of hallucinations stimulated by a certain Scottish dream, Loch Lomond. The scenery in Haddock's dream is reminiscent of the paintings of the Italian surrealist painter Giorgio de Chirico. You can always visualize this sort of heads full of colors, bursting forth of colors. So it has a striking similarity with the Hergé. I'm ending with the question that is it a new genre, Tintin in Tibet? It ushers, of course, a new dimension into the comic strips, that is the spiritual dimension. Because although action and adventure in Tintin play a very big part, a crucial role in the story, the 20th comics in the Tintin series, we can also see and feel other elements like emotions, evoking the personal evolution of the author and the changing perspectives and values of his audiences in the 1960s. Remember in 1968 there will occur a great revolution of the student revolution that will change the discourse of the European academia forever. Tintin in Tibet is definitely a different narrative. As he matured, Hergé read works of philosophy, psychology and psychoanalysis. His readings lead him to discover and learn about Taoism, Jain and Buddhism. Now, finally, we will discuss about the sources of Tintin, which are though not very important for you, but I will show you the sources. Tintin have read many, Hergé have read many, a wide variety of texts about Tibet and others. For example, Fosco Marini's Secret of Tintin, Heinrich Harrier's 7 Years in Tibet, Shiwang Pemba's Tibet, My Homeland, Maurice Harjog's Annapurna, and various other narratives. All these have a great influence on him. He in fact borrows various visuals, you can see here, from all these things. And he in fact borrowed the conception of the Yeti from his own friend Bernard Heuvelmann's book on the Trail of the Unknown Animals. Now, after reading Heuvelmann's description of the Yeti, Hergé went on to research the cryptid species as much as possible, and Hergé interviewed many mountaineers including Harjog, the famous mountaineer who had spotted the tracks of what he believed was an enormous bipod that escaped at the foot of a rock face in Annapurna. Remember, Annapurna is almost an impossible mountain to climb. The creature's care for the starving Chang derives from a Sherpa account of a Yeti that rescued a little girl in similar circumstances. Another influence came from Fanny Vlaminck, who was interested in extrasensory perception. Remember the girl whom Hergé was dating on that time, Fanny Vlaminck, was extremely interested in extrasensory perception. Indragajyo padarther baire dariye কেমন করে perception of the human cognition system কাজ করে তাই নিয়ে Fanny Vlaminck interested ছিল. And she was also interested in mysticism of the Tibetan Buddhism, prominent themes in the story that also fascinated Hergé. So these are some of the influences. You can see, of course, this particular famous scene where Captain is actually crossing this particular river, and here he is also another. This is the footprints of the Yeti. This is the monastery, the picture of the monastery, the appearance, their first arrival in the Kathmandu, and of course the grand abbot is coming, and here is another picture of the of a sacred position of a in Tibetan spiritual hierarchy. This is the broken propeller. This is another broken propeller. You can see tremendous similarity. Blistering barnacles. What are you going to do now? The famous scene. So thank you. So this was my last lecture on Tintin. I have discussed with you regarding the various themes in Tintin and how Tintin in Tibet is different from other Tintin narratives. Now let us have a look into the tentative topics or tropes for class discussion and lesson planning in Tintin. This is not my lesson planning. This is included by Ovida Shude. I don't know him, I just got it. But here are some of the important questions on Tintin. First important question, which is a very important question, is the theme of friendship. Bondhutter dharana, Tintin in Tibet will tell and delineate almost the entire story, the bonding and the camaraderie between Tintin and Haddock, between Tintin and Tharke, and of course between Tintin and Chang, and how this bond of friendship, this theme of friendship, is driving the entire narrative, driving the entire story. Of course, another very important theme is Orientalism. What is Orientalism? Orientalism is basically a way of documenting the Orient. Orient means the land of Tibet, land of China, Southeast Asia basically. So it's a way of documenting Southeast Asia or various other Oriental countries from the eye of the Occidental people. So there is Orient, there is Occident. Occident means the European people, Orient means the non-European people, the Turkish people, the Indian people, the Chinese people. Orientalism is a theory developed by Edward Said, where he said that by creating this sort of documenting discourse and documentation of history, the Occidental people, the colonizers, actually creates a need for colonization. You must have learned the term white man's burden. সাদা চামড়ার মানুষদের যে ভার, কিসের ভার? না এই colonized people কে ক্যারি করতে হচ্ছে। ইন্ডিয়ানদের তো শেখাতে হচ্ছে যে কেমন করে মানুষ হবে, কেমন করে সভ্য হবে। তো এইভাবে বারবার সাহেবরা ভারতীয় ইতিহাসকে বা টিবেটিয়ান হিস্ট্রিকে বা সাউথ ইস্ট এশিয়ান হিস্ট্রিকে নিজের মতো করে ইন্টারপ্রেট করছে। কেন? এই সমস্ত দেশের কলোনাইজেশনের প্রয়োজন রয়েছে। So through this documenting this sort of history in this different way, they have established the need and the necessity for colonizing. তাকে বলা হয় Orientalism. So is there any shadow of Orientalism in Tibet? Of course there is, especially in the representation of the India in the panels of Tintin in Tibet. India is a very chaotic country. It's a country full of cattle and other animals, where Tintin and Captain Haddock is not able to catch the airplane in the right time. So this is another very important question. Representation of India can also be asked in the short question, 5 marks question. And of course, Harje's contribution in the history of the Franco-Belgian comics as a pioneer of the Lignac style. You can be asked question on Tintin as a graphic novel. Tintin as a graphic novel. And fourth is the autobiographical element of Tintin. Please discuss about the autobiographical element, that Tintin in Tibet can be read as an autobiography of Harje himself, because the young reporter Tintin, in search of his friend Chang Chongchen, is inspired by Harje's traumatic nightmares and a personal conflict while deciding to leave his wife in 3 decades. Can you establish this? So comment on the autobiographical elements in Tibet. So these are the main important questions, 10 marks questions. First is the theme of friendship. Second is the representation of India, 5 marks question. Orientalism in Tintin, Tintin as a graphic novel, and Tintin as an autobiographical narrative. Of course, there are other questions like the symbol of the white, the beauty and the cruelty of the white, how Yeti was a product of the Harje's beauty and cruelty of white. Of course, there can be some 5 marks question on Yeti. Describe Tintin in Tibet as a solo voyage of redemption from the whiteness of the guilt, as Harry Thompson puts it. I've discussed with you. Of course, there can be short questions on Captain Archibald Haddock, from the character portrayal of Haddock, and of course this conflict between the Boy Scout ethic of the Harje along with the as portrayed in Tintin's character. So এই প্রশ্নগুলো বিভিন্ন ভাবেই আসতে পারে. As I've already told you that the Catholic upbringing of Harje has actually creates a Boy Scout ethics inside him, যেটা তাকে তারপর personal decision of divorcing his wife Charmaine, সেখান থেকে তাকে বাধা দিচ্ছিল এই নতুন যে রিলেশনশিপ Fanny সে ক্রিয়েট করবে কি করবে। So these are some of the important 5 marks and 10 marks question. So 10 marks questions, first theme of friendship, second Orientalism in Tintin, 5 marks question, Astavar representation of India. Third, very important question, 10 marks question, Tintin as a Franco-Belgian comics, as a graphic narrative, as a comics, Tintin in Tibet. Character of Tintin, autobiographical elements in Tintin, character of Chang Chong Chen in the 5 marks question, character of Captain Archibald Haddock, dream sequences of Captain Archibald Haddock, the symbol of the white. So these are some of the important questions. Thank you. See you on the next lecture, and of course the mysticism and the spirituality of the Tibetan Buddhism is reflected in Tintin. Can you also ask in 5 marks question? So thank you. Thanks a lot. We'll see you in the next lecture. My next lecture will probably be on Rape of the Lock, an 18th century mock epic. Canto 1 and 3 is recommended in your syllabus. So see you then. Till then, goodbye. My heartfelt thanks to you for your great patience. Thank you for your attention. See you in my next lecture. Bye.